Welcome to the We Are Not Born Failures podcast. Another week, otra semana del podcast. And I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who's been supporting the podcast. We've had a lot of positive reactions, a lot of positive feedback, a lot of things to still improve on. Pero pienso que la crítica ha sido ha sido positiva en su mayoría. Y claro, tenemos muchas cosas en las que aún tenemos que trabajar. When I say we, I mean me, myself, and I, because pretty much I do it all by myself. Multimedia journalist on several occasions, not always, but that means you have to do it all. That's the reason why I'm wearing headphones if you're watching the YouTube video, because one of the things that I've learned is that you need to check audio levels and make sure that everything's fine. Y es lo que estamos haciendo en estos momentos, revisando los niveles de audio, asegurándonos que todo se escuche bien bonito para que usted lo pueda disfrutar de la mejor manera. And yes, I am very thankful for the friends that have reached out. I have my friend Hertz, I have my friend Josue, who have already given me a hand, and a lot of other friends who have told me, man, whatever you need, I'm here for you. Just give me a call. I'll help you out in whatever way possible. And that's the topic for today. Friends, amigos. El tema de hoy, amigos, amistades. It's something that I've been thinking about for a while. Before I continue, let me just tell you that I started recording this podcast. I was about 6 minutes in, and I had to stop it because somebody called me. And that's why I suggest that if you're ever doing anything, just put it on do not disturb, focus, or work, and just go straight for whatever it is that you're doing. Because when somebody calls you or distracts you, man, it throws you off, and then you have to start all over again, and it's not fun. It's not fun at all. But as I was saying, friends, el tema de hoy es amigos, amistades, friends, friendships, however you want to put it together. The question, what is a friend? Something I've been thinking about for a long time, not just now. Like I've said before, sometimes for me, I have to digest topics. I have to really think about it and say, what is it that I want to speak about? And if I do speak about this topic, what do I want to go into? And I wanted to see the definition of friend. Quería ver esa definición de amigo, ¿verdad? And I found this one. There were several definitions, but I would say that this one stuck out. True friends are usually those who offer you support, improve your quality of life, promote self-confidence, provide honesty and unconditional love, and help you progress mentally. It often takes time and effort to foster deep and healthy friendships. That's the definition. And what sticks out to me is it takes time and effort. Time and effort. Una buena amistad creo que requiere de dos cosas importantísimas: tiempo y esfuerzo para cosechar esas amistades. I've categorized friends in three different categories. That's where I put my friends, right? Three different categories. One, childhood, professionalism, which is your career, and the friends you make along the way. I believe those are the three things that stick out to me. Now, you might say, Moises, you're missing a lot of other categories. But those are the ones that I want to talk about today, because I think if we go into different categories or different parts of friendship, we would never end this conversation. This is just the point of view. Now, I want you to know one very important thing. What you're listening to is, I guess, an inside look to the conversations that I have with myself. Yes, usualmente cuando yo estoy solo, a veces hablo de esta manera conmigo mismo. En voz alta, mentalmente, pero son conversaciones que yo tengo conmigo mismo. Hablo de cosas, hablo de temas, desarrollo conversaciones como esta. Yo lo hice este fin de semana que pasó. Esta conversación que estoy teniendo con ustedes, la tuve el fin de semana. Y me decía, bueno, esto, amistad, ¿de qué quiero hablar? Y si hablo de la amistad, ¿cómo voy a desarrollar este punto? Entonces, sí, I came up with, and I took notes, by the way, so I suggest you do too if you're trying to start a podcast, especially for my younger journalist friends. Sometimes you want to go off the dome, and that takes a lot of time, a lot of experience. You'll get there. Some people like to take notes. Some people like to improvise. I like both. But I think when you take notes on anything you do, it helps you. A great friend once told me. So moving on, right? Three categories: childhood, professionals, and friends along the way. Childhood friends are the ones that we've known forever, man. I have a lot. No, I'm lying to you. That's the point. I know a lot of people from my childhood, but the circle of friends, right, is very small from that childhood experience. Then professionals, I have friends that started off as coworkers and they became friends. And then you have those people that you meet along the way that are just God sent and they're there to support you, help you out, and are probably the least or the unexpected friends that stay in your life. Me recuerdo muy bien tener amistades desde niñez con los que sigo hablando el día de hoy. Algunos de ellos son buenos amigos, grandes amigos con los que tengo una gran amistad. Y hay otros que ya no son amigos o hay distancia entre nosotros porque suceden diferentes cosas en la vida. También tengo amigos profesionales que llegaron y se convirtieron amigos después de ser solamente compañeros de trabajo. Y es algo muy lindo, pero tal vez los que más sobresalen son las personas que nunca te imaginaste que iban a ser tus amigos y que te han aportado mucho a tu vida. I have a lot of those too. When I say a lot, I mean like a handful. Because when you think about it, if you start to write it down, if you say who are my real my real true friends, and perhaps they don't even make or they won't even get you won't even get to the same number of fingers you have in your hands. I believe that some of my childhood friends have shown me that true friendships do take time to build, and you go through several things. I've gone through different experiences with some of my friends, and that's brought us closer. That's made us understand each other, difficult circumstances. I've had friends who allowed me to crash their place when I was homeless, when I was in high school, when I was in my first year of college. I remember crashing with a couple of friends, well, one in particular, and that just shows, right? And for me, I believe in loyalty. I believe that sometimes loyalty is a good thing, but it could also be counterproductive because sometimes we might be too loyal and we stick around for longer than we should. I remember that, and I remember also friends who were there. One of the things people don't know about me is the fact that when I first got to Washington, D.C. to work for Telemundo, I was making no money, absolutely no money. I was struggling. I was at a point where I had just enough to pay for my rent and pay for my car, but I didn't have enough money to pay for my bills. I didn't have enough money to pay for health insurance. I didn't have enough money to buy myself clothes to keep an image, because that's what you do when you work in TV. And during those times, I remember calling different people. Some said they were not able to help. And there were others who ran, man. They ran. They went to do whatever it took to give me a hand, to help me out. Y en esos tiempos, cuando tú necesitas a alguien, yo recuerdo muy bien esa llegada al este del país, a Washington, D.C., cuando comencé a trabajar en televisión y tener esa necesidad porque no me alcanzaba nada, no tenía suficiente dinero para pagar la renta, para pagar mi auto y los otros biles que llegaban también, ¿verdad? Al final del mes o al inicio del mes. Y recuerdo amigos que fueron más allá para aportarme y darme la mano y decirme, no estás solo, I have your back. And I'm just like, wow, that's crazy that I have a friend that's willing to do that much for me. And sometimes you don't realize that. Sometimes you think that your friends are just going to stay there and be there when things are great, which is usually what happens, right? We have friends that are always there when things are amazing, when things are good, when you're winning. They're always there. But when things get tough, that's when you see your real friends. Which takes me back to my mother. As a kid, my mom had this saying. Probably your mom did too, or your grandmother, or your uncles, or someone close to you who would tell you, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you're with, and I'm going to tell you who you are. right? I've tried to create a circle of friends that I know I can count on and that could also count on me. And those are still things that I work on till this day. I feel like sometimes I have to be a better friend. I have to do the things that we forget to do. Pick up the phone, call a friend. Not so long ago, I had to apologize to one of my great friends because I forgot a birthday. And I think if you're a friend, you should remember that. But there's ways of doing it. I think that I'm the type of friend that if I'm wrong today at this age or at this point in my life, then I can admit that I was wrong. I made a mistake. It was my fault. I mean, I'm going to work not to do it again. And you learn from that lesson. So, yeah, I believe that real friends are there in good and bad times, are always showing up. Some of those friendships take time to create, to build up, for you to be able to count on people. Doesn't happen overnight. Maybe that's not the same friendship you're going to obtain with someone you just met a month ago, a couple weeks ago, a new friend. You have to kind of build up. And there's people you hit it off. You hit it off with. That's always going to happen. But in reality, that's a very small percentage. Si yo conozco una persona y nos llevamos bien y de repente nos convertimos en grandes amigos, usualmente el porcentaje de personas en esa categoría es muy, muy, muy pequeña. Lo que me ha costado a mí más en la vida es tener que cortar con amistades. That's the most difficult thing that I probably had to face. The fact that I've had to accept and learn how to cut people out of my life. That's a thing that we struggle with. Going back to loyalty. Sometimes we're just too loyal for our own good. And we think that everyone's our friend and we want to stay there in a friendship that is not giving us much. I'll tell you a couple stories. Going back to my high school days or middle school days, I had a couple of friends that I loved that became like family. And when I needed friends, they were there. And I am very grateful for those opportunities, for that support. But some of those friends also became bad influences. Right before I went off to college, I had to make a decision. What way am I going to go in? I had a couple of friends that said, Moises, let's go to college. Moises, none of us have family members that had ever gone to college. We can change this. Let's use soccer as the vehicle that takes us to the next step. And that's what we did. So normally what I would do is, if I'm going through that experience, I want my friends to experience this as well. I pulled different friends and I said, let's go to school. You lose nothing. Let's use soccer. Let's go play ball. And some friends said, it's not for me. Y aprendes que no puedes obligar a nadie a hacer algo que no quiere hacer. Entonces, estás viendo que de repente empiezas a crecer y empiezas a ir en un camino distinto al que tal vez tienen tus conocidos, tus amigos. Because all of a sudden, those friends become acquaintances, right? Or there's a distance, or you just go on a different path. And for me, around that time, it was all about getting better, growing, doing different things. So I was surrounding myself with people who wanted to do the same thing. And I'll get back to that part in a bit. But I had a couple of friends that just didn't want that. They wanted to keep partying. And don't get me wrong, because I partied myself. I would be lying to you if I said, oh, I was always righteous and I was always good and I never did anything wrong. No, that was not me. I'll be a liar. Because some of my biggest lessons in life have come from making mistakes in that world, of doing really dumb things that could have got me in trouble, could have got me killed. Right? They could have gotten me killed, and I was fortunate enough not to have to go through that. But when I saw that some of my friends back then didn't want the same thing that I wanted, and that they were becoming a distraction or pulling me in a direction that wasn't the right direction for me, I had to say, you know what? I'm going to step away, man. This is not for me. I don't want to be a part of this anymore, or I don't want to go in that direction. And I'm going to move on. Come with me or I guess do your own thing. Some people chose to do their own thing. And I went this way and then went that way. One went right, one went left. It's part of life. And it hurt because later in life, some of those decisions have consequences, not immediately, but years later. And I had to see people struggle or people go through difficult situations. And I wish with all my heart that I could help, and I couldn't do anything. I would say that you always have a soft spot for those people in your life, but sometimes you have to do what's best for you. Sometimes you have to really analyze the situation. Is this a good friendship? Is this really giving me anything? Or am I just here because I'm used to this friendship and because we've known each other this long and I just don't want to say, yeah, I don't want to be a part of this. I found myself in many of those friendships way after college, even as a professional. There was times where I was going out and doing things that I probably shouldn't be doing because they weren't giving me anything. So I learned that there's times when you have to cut people off and say, hey, man, I have to do this for me. Hay muchos momentos en la vida donde tenemos que cortar y decir, esto no va a funcionar, esto no me está dando absolutamente nada, esta gente es mala influencia y por más que yo quiera a una persona no significa que tengo que estar ahí siempre. Es como una relación, un noviazgo, un matrimonio. Hay momentos donde tienes que cortar y ver qué es lo que funciona y lo que no funciona y lo tienes que hablar. La gran pregunta es, ¿dejamos de hablarles a estas personas? Should we cut them off forever? Or should we attempt to talk to them? I personally think you should try to talk to people, right? It's one of the things we've lost in the last 15, 20 years. People don't talk anymore. They just kind of get mad at each other and they go their own way. I believe you should talk to people, especially when you're an adult. You should be mature enough to be like, hey, let's have a conversation. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, and that's just life. What I have learned is that definition of friendship, which, like I said, it takes time to create, to build up. The people who fit that category have to be the ones that believe in you, the ones that support you, the ones that lift you up when everything is not going your way. Usually it's a very small circle because, like I said, normally what happens is you go through a bad time and everyone disappears. No one's there. You need a lending hand, a helping hand. People just run away. They don't want to be a part of the drama, but they want to be a part of the success. Getting to where I'm at now, people would tell me, friends would tell me. And when I say friends, it's friends back then. Nah, man, that's not gonna. You're going too high. Like, why are you gonna go do that? Just get a normal job. Just do something else. And I say it because it's still in my head when I remember that, right? I still think about that. And I would ask myself, why are my friends the first people to stop me? The people that I consider close to me, the people that I say I will go to war with this person, the people I hang out with constantly are the first people telling me it's not going to work, man. You're not the one. You're aiming too high. I would expect that from anybody else. Somebody who doesn't know me, somebody who doesn't care about me. But if you love me and you're looking out for me the way you say you are, then I would expect for you to support me because that's what real friends do. And along the way, somebody said to me, you need people who see greatness in you when you don't see the greatness yourself. And I started finding those folks who became good friends. The people who would tell me, you have it in you, man. I can see it. I see potential. I see somebody who's hungry. All you got to do is keep working. Don't give up now. Keep going. And what I learned from that experience is that it was that I needed to be that person for other people. And that's what I've tried becoming. To be that person who tells you, keep going, man. Don't give up. I see you working hard. Even when I don't see it, I'm like, if you really want it, you can get it. And at least maybe it's not meant for you, because sometimes it's not. But the thing is that you want to make sure you left it all on the table, that you played all your cards, that you gave it 200% before you even consider quitting anything in life. And the people who are around you, they need to think just like you do. Because if you don't have that around you, then all you're going to have is people pulling you down, telling you it's not possible. You're aiming too high, man. You're not thinking straight. Whether it's my close friends, even acquaintances now, family members, because sometimes our own family is they're the first ones to tell you no, it's not going to happen. This is out of your league. What I've done is I'm going to put a wall. People call them boundaries. I call it drawing my line. This is my line right here. This is where I draw it. Either we're on the same page or I'll put my distance. There's a lot of things about friendship that mean so much to me. I said loyalty because I believe that I've been a loyal friend to those who are close to me, to the people I consider brothers, sisters. I'm always there. But I've also become smart enough to understand that not everyone has my best interests, that not everyone's looking out for me, that not everyone wants to see me succeed. And when you're able to identify that, you're able to move forward. You're able to liberate yourself. It is those people that we love that on instances, in occasions, put the most pressure on us and are expecting us to fail. I'll give you an example. Social media now, we're all very in love with social media. I'm sure you're in love with social media. I'm sure you're very active on social media. A lot of you are. And there's constant videos and content talking about how everyone's looking at your stuff, but no one's liking it, commenting the stuff you're doing, posting. But then you go on these same people's pages and platforms, and they support everybody else, but not you. They share everyone else's content, but not yours. They like, they comment on a daily basis, but your stuff, no. Many reasons, many explanations. And if you consider those people to be your friends, let me tell you, I would have conversations with them, because the people who really want to see you win are supporting you, are sharing your stuff, are lifting you up. In my personal experience, I've been fortunate enough, I've been blessed to meet people like this that are often my biggest cheerleaders, even when I feel kind of like, I don't need to celebrate that, but like, no, we got you. You're doing great. Keep going. And although I don't say it personally, that fills me with so much energy to say, you know what? It's working. I'm making a difference. I'm helping one person. Because those people who are truly your friends are going to always be there to lift you up. And here's one of the most important lessons before we end this, because what minute are we in? I promised myself that I don't want to make these too long yet, because I don't want to bore you guys. I want to make sure that it's right on time, right on target. But if there's one lesson that I've learned, it is that your real friends are going to tell you when you're wrong. They're going to tell you in a nice, I guess, I'm not going to say professional, but in a nice way, mature way, you're doing this wrong. You made a mistake. This is not the way to go. When they see you've committed a mistake, they're going to call you out. They're not going to say, oh, it's okay, man. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. No, the real ones are going to say, look, man, I don't think that was right. Or I think you might have, you probably overstepped, or you went in the wrong direction. And the friends that tell me that, which a lot of them do, because I give them the liberty, the close ones, to say, hey, man, I don't think that was right. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know what? Let me go and apologize. And usually I become that person. I recently, not a friend, just an acquaintance. And who knows? We might become friends. Somebody posted something and I didn't agree with it. And I went on social media and I wrote about it. And I said, hey, man, what's up with this and that? And he replied. And when he replied, I felt like I was wrong. I felt like Even though I didn't insult anybody. It was not the best way to approach that. So I publicly apologized and said I might have been, I probably overstepped. I probably didn't choose the best way possible. And then we took that conversation to a DM. But that's the type of friend that I want to be. That's the type of person I want to be. Open, transparent, willing to take criticism, not perfect. Understands that that he makes, in my case, a lot of mistakes. That there's always room for improvement. There's always room to grow. Even today, I have those close friends that I just mentioned in different categories. I want to be a better friend to them. And perhaps I have more time now than I did in the past 12 years. Therefore, I make an effort to reach out, even a text here or there. And what's up, man? What's going on? What's up, sis? Whatever you need, I'm here. And if I'm able to do it, I'm going to do it. Because I believe that's what friendship should be like. I hope you guys took some positive things from these conversations or from this conversation, that you learned from the topics that we talked about. And we're getting close to 28 minutes. So Moises' mind, Moises' thinking, welcome to my head. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you keep supporting this podcast. I'm working on a few other things that are coming up, including a better background, so it looks nicer, more professional for the people listening on audio. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for leaving those comments. I appreciate you. Let's keep this going, man. I'm just getting started. I feel like I'm heating up, and I have some amazing guests that are going to be coming up soon. All right. See you next time. Nos vemos en la próxima. Peace out.